boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. Hey, I'm a just island boy.
Finger bang, chicken wang, GK, Igazay, Lil Pump, Lil Xan, imitate Lil.
That's what's wrong right now. Everybody trying to rap the same style with the, I don't know who created it, if it was Future or Migos, but all them sound the same. I said, me in the studio one night trying to do that. I'm like, man.
Mumble rap crashed into the scene like a wild storm, shaking up the whole game. Sure, some of these artists might cook up tracks with beats that slap, but let's be real, that doesn't make them true rappers. Many people see it as straight up lazy and a downgrade from what hip-hop is supposed to stand for. Just listen to this madness. And you already know the OGs in the game aren't biting their tongues about it. Especially when Rich the Kid is out here talking wild, claiming the legends are intimidated by them. Like, what? That's when you know the culture's being twisted in the worst way. Legends like Snoop Dogg and plenty more have spoken up, and with good reason. When the pioneers of hip-hop see a new wave pulling through, they expect real skill and real grind.
A mumble rapper. Just yeah. So you say yeah after everything and make it rhyme. It don't matter what it is. Hey, for real, you can say anything. I just went to the store. Yeah, for the little yeah.
If you're not bringing raw heat, trust me, they'll call you out without hesitation. Starting with Snoop himself, he's never held back when it comes to blasting the repetitive, shallow vibes of mumble rap. So when Snoop and Kevin Hart linked up to react to some of 2021's wildest TikTok clips, you already know it was about to get messy. One of the videos featured the Island Boys, those twin brothers, half singing, half mumbling in a pool. And man, Snoop wasn't having it. Neither was Kevin. The second that clip ended, they were clowning hard, cracking jokes like they couldn't believe what they just saw. Now, the Island Boys, especially Fly, didn't take that roasting lightly. Fly caught wind of the segment and instantly snapped back, aiming all his heat at Snoop. He even started threatening, saying, "If he were to say that to me in real life, on site, I would fade him. I'd beat him, I swear to God, on everything in my life." Fly doubled down, swearing again, "If I ever see him, it's on sight." Bold words for someone still trying to prove himself. But Snoop? Man, Snoop's a veteran and the definition of unbothered. He didn't flinch for a second. Instead of clapping back with anger, he flipped it into pure comedy. Snoop hopped on Instagram, dropping a playful jab. "I don't want no smoke with them." Making it crystal clear, he wasn't about to take the Island Boys seriously. And the fans? They were quick to remind Fly and his brother that stepping to someone like Snoop is a whole different league. Dangerous territory they really don't want to test.
Gang, gang, slang. You ain't
Gang, they got to use that word. I'm speechless. Two goofballs in the pool.
Going at Snoop Dogg was a losing battle, and it looked like the Island Boys finally realized it. Fly ended up backing down and dropping an apology for all that tough talk. But then there's Eminem, and he's a whole different beast. M has never sugarcoated how he feels about mumble rap. He flat out hates it. To say he's not a fan would be the understatement of the century. He made it crystal clear on his album Kamikaze, where he went on a full-blown lyrical rampage, swinging at mumble rappers left and right. He threw shots at Lil Yachty, mocked Migos by twisting their hit Bad and Boujee, and even flipped Lil Pump's entire Gucci Gang flow just to clown how ridiculous he thought it was. Eminem wasn't just criticizing, he was dismantling the whole wave bar for bar. Nah. Of course, the younger rappers weren't just gonna stay quiet. Lil Pump, for one, jumped online running his mouth about Eminem, claiming, "Nobody listens to Eminem anymore." Bold words, but completely out of touch.
I mean, you know, he definitely talking,
That line didn't sit right with anybody, especially once the numbers started getting pulled up. Eminem's fan base is massive, and when you stack their streaming stats side by side, it was obvious Pump was way out of his league. And M, he wasn't about to let it slide. He clapped back in classic fashion, slickly quoting his own lyrics from Book of Rhymes on Twitter, a reminder that he doesn't need extra words when his bars already do the talking. The funniest part? By early 2021, Lil Pump caught a case of selective amnesia. When people brought up the beef, he suddenly acted like he couldn't even remember what happened. But when it comes to rap beefs with the so-called mumble rappers, the one that really shook the culture has to be Machine Gun Kelly's war with Eminem. It all kicked off when MGK jumped on Twitter and called Eminem's daughter Haley hot. Now, if you know anything about M, you know his daughter is completely off limits. That tweet hit the wrong nerve, and even though MGK tried to brush it off, Marshall wasn't letting that disrespect slide. Fast forward to MGK's track No Reason, where he slipped in a slick little reference to Eminem's rap god. That was all it took. M came back swinging with a brutal diss track that torched MGK for that Haley tweet and plenty more. But credit where it's due, MGK didn't back down. He fired back with Rap Devil, a bold response that had the whole industry buzzing.
Boy, and I've been trying to make, oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy. I'm a just island boy.
I'm speechless. Two goofballs in the pool.
You know why I'm not speechless?
Why?
Because I'm an island.
He went at Eminem's legacy, calling him out of touch, saying his last 4 albums were trash, and even throwing dirt by claiming he could hook up with M's ex-wife, Kim. The audacity had everybody's jaw on the floor. MGK was up in the studio screaming into the mic, but you already know Eminem wasn't going to let that fly. He came back even harder, unloading a diss track that ripped MGK to shreds. From clowning his career moves to tearing apart his arguments line by line, M made sure there was no question about who owned that battle. Later, Eminem broke it down in an interview, explaining his side and making it clear he had zero regrets about how it all went down. Meanwhile, MGK quietly shifted gears, switching to rock music not long after, which fans couldn't help but see as a retreat. And then you've got the new wave of mumble rappers going out of their way to throw shade at the legends. Take Lil Xan, for example, the guy behind the track Betrayed. He sparked massive controversy when he had the nerve to call Tupac's music boring during an interview. And if that wasn't reckless enough, he even rated Pac a 2 out of 10 on what he called his clout meter. For anyone who doesn't know, clout is basically a way to measure somebody's influence or cool factor, but calling Tupac's music boring, that was pure disrespect. And the hip-hop community wasn't having it.
I would have beat his ass on everything. I swear to God, my life I would have. I swear to God. If I ever see him, it's on sight.
Twitter exploded, with fans from every generation jumping in to roast Lil Xan. One tweet hit the nail on the head. People shouldn't be shocked about Lil Xan disrespecting Tupac. You all let these little culture vultures get too comfortable. Now they think they can say whatever they want. Another user went even harder, firing off. This coming from a rapper named after a drug? Please. Tupac was a poet. Universities literally study his so-called boring raps. That's something you'll never touch or understand. By then, it was clear Lil Xan had seriously messed up. He wasn't just beefing with fans, he was playing with hip-hop history itself. Lil Xan tried to clean up the mess by performing Tupac's legendary California Love at one of his shows. But the damage was already done. Fans weren't buying the act, and the backlash just kept piling on. Things hit a whole new level when Xan almost got caught up in a shootout in downtown Los Angeles. He was at a gas station with his girlfriend Annie Smith when someone spotted him and brought up those Tupac comments. Xan stayed quiet in the moment, but later jumped on Instagram to tell his side, admitting he had pulled a gun for protection. He claimed, "The media's gonna twist what just happened at the gas station." I was about to be attacked and had to defend myself. Forget all you old heads still talking about that Tupac stuff. Live your own life and stop picking on a kid.
I didn't mean to be mean to Snoop Dogg. I love Snoop Dogg. You know, it's just, he's an inspiration, you know. He kind of put me down with the way he was talking about me. So, you know, at the end of the day,
But a week later, he started backpedaling hard. In an interview, Xan insisted, "I never dissed Tupac." They edited the clip to make it look like I hate all old school hip hop. The flip-flopping only made the controversy worse. But by that point, it was too late. Lil Xan had already locked in his reputation as one of the most disrespectful newcomers in hip hop. And then came XXXTentacion, who never shied away from stirring the pot either. During a heated interview with DJ Academics back in January 2018, Pac's name got mentioned, and X immediately snapped. "I'm better than Tupac, bro. Please don't compare me to him. Please don't." As you can imagine, fans and critics weren't letting that slide. Twitter lit up with backlash, and one fan roasted him by posting, "X does this, X says that, X takes a dump at McDonald's. Man, give it up already. Nobody cares about this dude or his weak opinions." Another fan broke it down in a calmer way, pointing out, "I get that music changes with time, but what this kid doesn't get is Tupac was speaking to a whole different generation. You can't compare yourself to Pac unless you were living through 1996 and everything that came with it." The disrespect hit hard, and the backlash only pushed the divide between old school and new school even deeper. At this point, it feels like some of these rappers just throw out wild statements for attention. One fan even went as far as calling X the weakest rapper in the game today. And then you've got Lil Yachty, who's made it crystal clear he doesn't care about old school hip hop, and he's not afraid to say it out loud. Yachty sparked chaos in the hip hop community with his dismissive attitude toward the legends. He straight up went on record saying he thinks Biggie is overrated, practically blasphemy in the culture. And to make things worse, Yachty admitted he wasn't even familiar with Pac or Biggie's catalogs. He couldn't name 5 songs from either of them if his life depended on it. His excuse? He claimed he was too busy doing his own thing and didn't see learning hip-hop history as a priority.
"Eminem, you is lame as hell. Ain't nobody listening to your old you lame as..."
His attitude was basically, if I do it my way and make all this money, why should I follow the path everyone else says I should? He shrugged off all the criticism like it was nothing, but when it comes to flat-out disrespect, Kodak Black might just take the crown. He's thrown shade at both Tupac and Biggie in ways that proved he doesn't care one bit about their legacies. At first, Kodak made a few slick comments, but then he doubled down hard during an Instagram live session.
Lil Pump, like, what was that about?
Who?
Eminem.
I remember that.
That's when he flat out claimed he's better than Tupac and Biggie, and even pushed it further by saying the only reason they're seen as legends is because they're no longer alive. Bold words that had the entire culture fuming. As expected, nobody who respects hip-hop history was letting that slide. But Kodak's drama didn't stop there. He's also aimed shots at Lil Wayne, calling him washed up and irrelevant. Kodak wasn't just stirring the pot, he was flipping the whole table. Wayne might have decided to stay quiet, but his daughter Regina Carter wasn't letting Kodak's disrespect slide. She clapped back hard, saying Kodak's new album sounded like he was just copying her father's old style. Next up, let's get into Ola Runt, who ended up in a messy run-in with none other than Gucci Mane. Now, Gucci is famous for his no-nonsense attitude. He doesn't hesitate to put people in check the second they cross the line.
Tommy, you a bitch. Yeah, that's why.
Back in 2019, Gucci spotted potential in Ola, a rising rapper out of Atlanta, and even decided to sign him. Gucci showed real support, even hopping on a few tracks to boost Ola's career. But things went left during an Instagram live session. The two were chopping it up when Gucci casually mentioned he might finish a song they were working on later that night. Instead of keeping it cool, Ola started acting out, talking reckless and pressing Gucci to hurry up with the track.
Against Tupac, I never dissed him because they edited the clip to make it look like I hate all old.
And Gucci being Gucci, you already know, he wasn't about to let that disrespect slide, especially not live for everyone to see. Gucci checked Ola right then and there, letting him know that kind of disrespect wasn't gonna fly. You'd think Ola would have taken the hint and cooled off, but nope, he kept pushing with the same attitude. Gucci finally had enough and cut him loose from the label completely. Since then, Ola's career has barely moved, and it's clear that going up against Gucci Mane was one of the worst moves he could have made. And this wasn't even the first time Gucci had to check somebody.
Tupac, bro, please don't compare me to him. Please don't compare me to him. Please don't. Tupac can't make rap.
At a radio station meet and greet, Gucci was just chilling, signing autographs and snapping pics with fans, when some random dude barged in out of nowhere. The guy started freestyling loud, desperate to grab Gucci's attention. Bad timing doesn't even begin to explain it. Gucci wasn't in the mood. and he shut it down quick. He straight up told the guy nobody wanted to hear his raps, right there in front of everybody. The dude looked crushed on the spot, and honestly, it turned into a brutal lesson in learning how to read the room. But Gucci doesn't just check up-and-comers, he's gone head-to-head with rap legends too. Back in 2005, he found himself in one of the most infamous beefs in hip-hop history with none other than Jeezy. Things got real when Jeezy dropped a track and put a $10,000 bounty on Gucci's iconic ice cream cone chain. That bounty sparked chaos. 5 guys actually showed up at Gucci's place trying to snatch it. Things got physical fast, and Gucci ended up fighting them off. In the heat of the struggle, he grabbed his gun and fired, hitting one of the attackers, Pookie Lock. Days later, Pookie's body was discovered behind a middle school. Gucci turned himself in, claiming self-defense, and the courts agreed, letting him walk free on those grounds. But Gucci wasn't about to just leave it there. He came back with a diss track aimed at both Jeezy and Pookie, making it crystal clear he wasn't forgetting that night anytime soon. Fast forward to 2020, and the beef sparked back to life during a versus battle between Gucci and Jeezy, rekindling one of hip-hop's darkest rivalries on a global stage.
Better than Tupac and Biggie. They ain't got shit on Drake. They ain't got shit on Drake. They don't have shit on Drake. What can they do that Drake can do? Drake rapping.
The two faced off, running through their biggest hits, but Gucci took it to another level when he performed Truth, his diss track that directly calls out the Pookie Lock incident. And if that wasn't enough, right after finishing the track, Gucci doubled down, telling Jeezy he was still smoking on Pookie Lock, a bold and brutal reminder of their violent past. Jeezy tried to play it cool, suggesting it was time to move on since 15 years had already passed. But Gucci wasn't budging. He told Jeezy straight up that if he couldn't perform Truth, then there was no point in doing the versus battle at all.
Put that in the dirt.
I tell you what.
Smoking on Pookie Load tonight.
The tension was electric. Jeezy looked visibly uncomfortable, clearly not ready for Gucci to come at him that hard in front of millions watching. Now let's switch gears to Trav, a former G-Unit member who learned the hard way what happens when you cross 50 Cent. And if there's one thing everybody knows, it's that 50 never backs down from conflict. One unforgettable moment went down live on stage with none other than Meek Mill. They were performing when out of nowhere, 50 turned to Trav, said something sharp, and shoved him away. The tension hit instantly. You could feel it in the air, and it was clear 50 wasn't joking around.
Look at my lease. That's a... Give me, go ahead. We can fight. I don't care. Yeah, the chick, man. No, come on, I don't care.
Meek Mill and others on stage rushed in to cool things down, with Meek even stepping up to remind everyone that he and Trav were like family. Luckily, Meek managed to defuse the moment before it blew up. But it was a cold reminder that 50 is not someone you play with. And that wasn't the only time he showed it. Another night, 50 was out at dinner with Nicki Nicole, just minding his business, when an upcoming rapper ran up on him furious that 50 wouldn't give his music a listen. Things got heated fast. The guy squared up, asking if 50 was gonna hit him. He kept pressing, demanding 50 check out his Instagram, and when 50 brushed him off, the rapper snapped and accused him of being unfair. The whole scene was caught on camera. The rapper's friend was filming, clearly hoping to spark a viral moment.
Music, I salute you, feel me? But when I approached you, I was like, yo, I want you to look at my Instagram. That was it. But you was getting gangster, my hey, I'll fly over here.
But 50 shut it down fast, putting the guy in his place and letting him know this kind of aggressive stunt wasn't gonna take him anywhere. Luckily, no punches got thrown, but the clip still blew up online. Of course, the rapper tried to milk it afterward, posting his own video on Instagram, challenging 50 to a fight, and shamelessly using the buzz to promote his music. And then there's Offset, who ended up in a surprising backstage run-in with none other than Jay-Z. Now, most people today think of Jay as the billionaire mogul and business mastermind, but don't get it twisted. He still carries that edge from the streets. In 2018, a video surfaced showing Jay pressing Offset backstage. There was no audio, but the footage was clear. You could see Jay stepping up on Offset, while Beyonce stood in the background watching it all go down. Rumor has it, The tension backstage was all over a track. Offset was planning for Cardi B called Cheese, My Beyonce. Neither Jay nor Offset ever spoke publicly about the moment, leaving fans to run wild with speculation. But one thing came through loud and clear. Offset still respects Jay-Z. Even after being checked, there was no grudge, no public drama. That video and the whispers around it only reinforced what everybody already knew. Jay-Z is still untouchable. No matter how many years he's been in the game, he's the kind of figure you don't cross, period. And if you rocked with this breakdown of hip-hop's wildest beefs and disrespectful moments, make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.